Hi, good morning. Today we're going to make Sunday brunch. So we're going to have pancakes. We're using Bisquick, but we're going to modify them slightly. Bacon. I have some leftover extra thick Price Chopper bacon. And eggs. We're going to use extra large eggs. So some of the things you're going to need to make brunch. You're going to need a bowl for mixing. You're going to need a whisk. And if you own one, you're going to want a griddle pan. If you don't own one, just use a regular frying pan. First, you want to turn on because I'm using a griddle pan, I'm going to turn the back of the griddle pan on first, on high to heat it for the bacon. I'll turn the front of the griddle pan on later to work on the pancakes. You want to turn your griddle pan on about medium high or so to get it warmed for your bacon, and then you'll turn it down once it starts cooking. If you have an exhaust fan, you'll probably want to turn it on. I'll leave ours on low. Hopefully you can hear me over it. So usually I make about 2 strips of bacon per person, depending on how many people you're having over. If you have a preference for turkey bacon, it's still, the same. Put it on the griddle. And then you want to wash your hands because you just touched the meat. Another thing you might want to use if you own one, or if you don't, maybe find one on Amazon, if I can find mine. Oh, here it is a bacon press. This allows for an evenly cooked bacon and the edges don't curl up. Now the bacon's going to cook while we work on the pancakes. Okay, what you'll need for your pancakes, you'll need Bisquick, and then I do a modification. We don't drink milk in our house, so we use almond milk, but you can use regular milk. You'll need sugar, about 1 teaspoon. You'll need nutmeg. I only use a dash, but if you're going to measure, it would be about 1/8 of a teaspoon. You'll need a teaspoon of baking powder and approximately 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I don't measure it. I just sprinkle it in. My husband told me to explain the difference between baking soda and baking powder, and I don't know. You want baking powder for this. So on the box, it says to use 2 cups of Bisquick for, let's see, approximately, I don't know. It says it makes 14 pancakes. It's lying. It doesn't make 14 pancakes. With 2 cups of Bisquick, using a thick batter, I usually get about 8 pancakes. But if you make them thin, you'll get more pancakes. So that's about 2 cups. Oh. You're also going to want to use vanilla. I thought I grabbed it. Here. Also a teaspoon of vanilla. I just took the teaspoon out of my salt pig. I'm just going to wipe it off so it's clean. So modifying the recipe will make the pancakes fluffier, and it gives them a little extra flavor. So a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, which I don't usually measure, I just guess. Now, nutmeg is very powerful flavor, so you don't want to use very much. A little sprinkle. 1/8 of a teaspoon would be too much. And then the cinnamon, I like a lot of cinnamon. I think that's probably 1/4 of a teaspoon, maybe 1/2 teaspoon. And then you're going to need 1 egg. And your milk. If you want thick pancakes, you use less milk. If you want thin pancakes, you use more milk. The box suggests a cup and a half of milk to 2 cups of Bisquick. I wouldn't start with a cup and a quarter or a cup and a half of milk. Use less and then stir it, and if you want a thinner pancake, add a little bit more milk. It's easier to add milk as you need it than to try to add more Bisquick if you made your batter too thin. Now you could also add things to your pancakes. So here, my batter's too thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more milk. If you want, some people like to add, say, bananas to their pancakes. My personal preference is to mash your bananas first and then add them to your batter instead of slicing. I find that if you add sliced bananas to the batter while the pancakes are cooking, the bananas burn, and then you just have like a burnt, mushy banana in your pancakes. If you want to add blueberries, you're going to add them once you've put the batter on the skillet. Okay. So if you can see, this batter is a little thick, not too runny, and it'll make a little fluffier, thicker pancake. Now the bacon, I can pick this up and show it to you. Let's see. I have a weight on it. I'm going to switch the weight over to the other side to make it a little evenly cooked. And now I'm going to turn on the griddle to make the pancakes. When making pancakes, it's very important that your griddle is very hot to start with. You don't want to use a cold griddle. Your pancake batter will spread, and it will take a long time for the pancakes to cook. So right now I have the front griddle on high in order to get that hot for the pancakes. My griddle was nonstick, but I've owned it probably for 10 years, so the nonstick has kind of worn out. So I use a little ham spray to make sure the pancakes don't stick to the griddle pan. Ham. We use original, there's olive oil, there's different kind of flavors. It doesn't really make a difference. Now while we're waiting for the pan to heat up, I'm going to do a little cleaning and put my ingredients away. Also, when using a non-stick griddle pan, it's important to use rubber spatulas or rubber tongs so that you don't scratch the non-stick surface. Now the bacon isn't completely cooked on the one side, but I'm going to flip it so that it can start to cook. And then I'll switch it back and forth as it gets done to my liking. Personally, I like my bacon crisp. If you like your bacon what's called soft, that means it's still a little flexible, and it's just not as cooked. Everyone's a little different. Okay. So if you have a bacon press like this, it's going to be extremely hot on the bottom. I just lay it down on the stove itself. So here you can see the bacon. It's a little crisp, not too much. I'm going to flip it over. And at this point, I'm going to lower the heat on my bacon so it doesn't cook too quickly compared with my pancakes. Let's turn the heat down on the bacon to medium-low. And again, put the bacon press on half, and then I'll move it over and press the other half when I'm done. Now my griddle is hot enough for my pancakes. I'm going to lower the heat on the pancake griddle to medium, and then add my Pam cooking spray and start cooking the pancakes. My griddle fits about 4 pancakes, on half of it. Now, if you have someone who's, say, a vegetarian or something in your family, obviously you're not going to want to cook the bacon and the pancakes on the same griddle. You're going to want to do one and then the other, and wash in between, or use a separate griddle. But we're not vegetarians here, so one pan all at once works for me. You're also going to want to have, in order to keep your pancakes warm while the other ones are cooking, a plate on the side and what we call a mopping or a towel. Hon, can you grab an extra towel? I thought I had one in here, but I don't have it. Depending on how many you're cooking for, if you're cooking for a large group, you can turn your oven onto the warm setting. Usually it's about 250 degrees or lower, 100 degrees, and use a pan and a towel to keep your pancakes warm in the oven while you're waiting for the rest of them to cook. So here's just a clean little dish towel, and this way you're, put the pancakes in between to keep them warm while they're cooking. Now, how can you tell when a pancake is ready to be flipped? The pancake will start to get a couple bubbles in it and start to pop. Once those little bubbles start to form and pop, then you know that your pancake is ready to be flipped. Right now, I'm going to move my bacon press back over to the other side, and I think I'm going to lower the bacon heat just a little more to low because it's cooking and it's almost done. Now, what I do with my bacon after it's done is I place it on a couple of pieces of paper towel to drain off some of the excess fat and put it to the side. For me, if my bacon's a little cold when I eat it, I'm not too stressed about it. Otherwise, you can do like with the pancakes and put them in the oven on the warm setting until everything is ready. So let's see. I'll bring the camera over. The bubbles are just starting to form on the pancakes. Let's see. Can you see the pancakes? There we go. See how little bubbles are forming? So that means they're pretty much ready to be flipped. I'm going to lower the heat on the pancake side to medium low. Our stove tends to cook a little hot, so a medium is more like a high. So these are a little dark. My oven was a little too high on the front. So I've turned it over. And I'm not the best pancake flipper, so that's okay. So I've turned my bottom of my pan down to low. My bacon is done. I'll show you how that looks. Here's a piece of the bacon. That's crisp enough for me. So I'm putting it on my towel. I have 3 layers of towel to absorb the bacon, and then I'll put a top layer over the bacon and press it a little bit with my tongs to get the grease off. And then turn the back of the griddle off because I'm done with the back of the griddle. We'll also make some eggs. Eggs you always want to save for last because they take the least amount of time to cook. So once the pancakes are finished, then we'll cook our eggs. You can press on the pancakes a little. If none of the batter squishes out the sides, then that means they're usually done. So here is a pretty pancake. And again, you're going to put it on the towel in a layer. This way they stay warm while you're making the rest of your pancakes. Okay. And then again, you want to add a little bit more Pam to the griddle if your griddle is not non-stick. And then add your batter. So here you can see my batter has risen a little bit. Let me see. Because of the baking powder. So you just want to stir it just to get the bubbles out. Now your pan should still be quite hot, so you can keep it on the low setting. And just adjust it if you find that the cooking time is varied. You can just increase your cooking time. Now you can see my pancakes weren't particularly large. We did a smaller pancake because of the space on the griddle that I have. But you can do as large of a pancake as you like, or smaller pancake. The tiny pancakes are called silver dollar pancakes. Now here is when, if you wanted to add fruit or nuts to your pancakes, blueberries, pecans, you would add them once you put the batter onto the griddle. And then when you flip them, you'll have the blueberries or nuts or whatever it is already in the pancake. So those are cooking and they're almost done. And then you want to get out what you want to put on your pancakes. We use butter and maple syrup. Some people are purists and prefer the real maple syrup. Other people like their Aunt Jemima. So whichever kind you like, it's up to you. And also some people like to heat their syrup up. Some people are fine with it out of the refrigerator. You can find pure maple syrup in your grocery store and usually the pancake aisle. That's where we get ours. Or if you want to take a trip to a farmer's market or something, I'm sure they'll sell it there as well. You can also use jam on your pancakes, peanut butter, Nutella, any kind of topping really will do. These ones are ready to be flipped. Once the pancakes are finished, my husband will come in and show you how to do the eggs. Usually I will do the eggs right on the griddle after the pancakes, but he can show you in a smaller frying pan. You want to do that now because these are almost done. Come on.
Yeah.
Eggs.
Okay.
You can, if you're using a separate pan, you can start your eggs now because then your pancakes will be done just about the same time as your eggs.
So with eggs cook really fast. They cook faster than you think, or faster than you expect. Where's the spray?
Right there.
Okay. So the thing with eggs, like I said, they cook fast. So you kind of have to want to know what you're making already. I put this on low so it's already cooking, warming up the pan. Now the way you cook your eggs, it depends on what you want to do. If you're making, let's say, a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, then what you're going to want to do is start it cooking. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. And the key to making a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich is you got to crack the yolk. Also, have your garbage can open because you're going to be, throwing away eggshells. So I'm going to show two things. Just how to cook an egg and flip it, basically. I'm going to show you how to make an omelet at the same time. Alright. So that's that for that pile of eggs. Now, you want to whisk, but I think we only have a dirty one. Or is it clean? No, you don't need to clean it. You don't need to clean it. You can use a whisk. Most omelets are typically made with 3 eggs. So you can use a whisk to do this. I just have 3 eggs in there that you can't really see because of the light. But you take that, you stick a fork in each of the yolks to break them, and then you just using a fork as a whisk. You just keep doing this, bringing the stuff up from the bottom. If there's any parts of the yolk that are still sticking together, you push down on them with the fork. So you just keep doing this till you have a decent blend. It doesn't have to be perfectly blended. We're not working in a restaurant right now.
Those pancakes are done, so I'm taking them off the griddle.
Alright. So that's pretty well mixed. Now, you can tell that this egg isn't quite ready to be flipped because, well, you can't because of the lighting, but you can tell when it's ready to be flipped because there'll be a little bit of brown around it. So while I'm waiting for that one to cook, that's not really helping or hurting. Actually, it did help a little bit. Good job, dear.
And here is your stack of pancakes. Yay!
Alright. Yeah, like I had it on low just to warm up the pan. I have it on a little bit below medium right now, but we also have a stove that runs a little hot. Said the thing about the browning part. Oh, another thing to realize about eggs, especially can get a little chaotic when you're doing a bunch of things, is eggs will continue to cook even after you've taken them off. Like the heat from the pan will continue to cook the eggs. Eggs have a very low heat threshold. So I'm picking this up. It's starting to come off the pan a little bit. So even though I don't have the perfect brown edges, there's a little bit of a brown edge. Now, let's start with the basic way. So if I was making, like I said, a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, I would break the yolk, flip the egg. Otherwise, it depends on the person who wants them over easy, over medium, or over hard. Over hard, you're breaking the yolk. Over easy, you're flipping it over and just leaving it to cook for 10-20 seconds. It depends on how much. Over medium, a little bit longer than that. So, basic technique. Take the spatula, get underneath it. Make sure you get the main part of the yolk fully under the spatula. Flip it over. Easy.